about the things that you're going to have to do in the flesh, but they're spiritual. But Abraham didn't. Nobody wants to do their favorite son, so to speak. You just go and be obedient to chop him up. You got to go sacrifice this guy. He's like, ah, shit. Hey, guess what, son? Oh, because I was making a joke about I was making a point about the joke that was made on Family Guy. Because they brought it up and they had Abraham walk over to Isaac. Hey, son, let me talk to you. Let's go for a walk. It just kind of made it real lighthearted, you know. But when you think about that real scenario, that's not a tough scenario.
That was heavy for Abraham.
Yeah.
Because he had a son, Ishmael, but that was with
the
bond woman, yeah.
Yep.
So he finally, because his wife was barren, he finally got that blessing. It was a boy, and now you want me to give him up?
Yep. You got to kill him? Oh, come on.
Man.
All right, son. We got to go for a walk. We got to talk about something.
That was faith.
Yeah.
That was accounted for righteousness. That was the type of faith that the Lord is looking for.
Yeah, and obedience.
Obedience.
Yep, in righteousness, yeah.
All right. So anyway, if somebody can, give me Wisdom of Solomon 10. Because I mentioned Abraham, I mentioned Noah, you know. I mentioned all these men as having wisdom. These were the men that walked with the Most High power. Hey, Lot, he walked in wisdom. And that delivered him from that situation.
Yeah.
See? Elijah. Get Wisdom of Solomon 10. Start at the top.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10, and verse 1.
This is what wisdom did for these men.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
She preserved the firstborn father of the world.
That's talking about Adam. Because before he went off following Eve, he had paradise.
Yeah.
He had the breath.
He had the breath. He had the understanding.
Yep.
You know? So at that moment, before the falling away, he was immortal. He was in the image of the Father in heaven.
Right.
Go ahead.
She preserved the firstborn father of the world that was created alone, and brought him out of his fall. They gave him power to rule all things.
Yep.
But when the unrighteous went away from her in his anger, he perished also in the fury wherewith he murdered his brother.
Yep.
You know what that's talking about, Cain and Abel. You know? Abel was the wise one, and Cain was the dickhead. All right? Hey, this devil always despised the wisdom of the Most High. He's contrary. That's why I look at the world. If this man was for the wisdom of the Most High, the whole planet would be a paradise.
It would be back in Idon.
It would be, the whole planet would be Idon, Eden. But it's the complete opposite, man. Because he actually hates the wisdom, but the Lord put it into him to despise the wisdom.
Because he think his wisdom is what's
Earthly.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how people will.
And it says the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom.
Yep. And
So like the 19th chapter.
I was gonna say, and a lot of people want to try to make a case for fallen angels, meaning angels that come from a godly state and come down to a carnal state. They want to make a case for carnality. Nah, man. The wisdom is immortal. The wisdom is celestial. Okay, it's from above. You got it right.
For whose cause the earth being drowned with the flood, wisdom again preserved it,
Yep.
and directed.
Hey, wisdom preserved it. Why? Because Noah, he was given instruction from the Most High to put all the animals. I want you to build this ark.
Yep.
Put all the animals on it and bring your family. Why? Because the Lord's gonna preserve them after He destroyed the earth with the first death, so that when the Lord rejuvenate, He would be able to multiply. That's why we're even here to this day. It was because of the wisdom of Noah, man. He followed the instruction.
Obedience.
And that preserved the whole generation of people. Because we wouldn't be if it wasn't for those three souls that came from Noah: Shem, Ham, and Japheth. All right. You see how far wisdom goes, man?
It's eternal.
The Lord basically saying, hey, if you want eternity, just follow my instruction. It's that simple.
O ye kings of the people, honor the wisdom that you may reign forevermore.
Forevermore. That's it. Now, finish that.
For whose cause the earth being drowned with the flood, wisdom preserved it, and directed the course of the righteous in a piece of wood of small value. Moreover, the nations in their wicked conspiracy being confounded, she found out the righteous.
That was going to the time of the Tower of Babel. When they came together in one language, they conspired with each other. They came up with their own little invention. We're going to build this tower to the heavens. He already flooded the earth. Well, he won't be able to get us all if we get all the way to the top.
Yeah, you got to think about it like that.
Their mindset back then.
Yeah, that's what they're at least doing, building the bunkers and everything.
Space station.
Yeah, the space stations.
They think that their wisdom is going to supersede the Most High's wisdom.
Like he ain't already thought it. Like the Most High ain't never already thought of that.
Like he ain't allowed the thought to enter their mind and let them try it out.
Yeah. That's funny as hell when you think about it, man.
What is it? The wisdom of this world is
It's
foolishness.
foolishness. It's foolishness with the Most High, man.
Oh man.
You know? Yep.
She found out the righteous and preserved the blameless unto the Most High.
That's talking about Abraham. All right? Because he walked perfect because he walked with the Most High. He was the only one in that family that had that direct connection with the Most High. He worshipped the Most High.
There was a line that was cool, was a righteous line, but he was the one.
He was the direct line.
Yeah.
You know? He was part of that chosen line.
Yep. When you go through the genealogy, it shows you that line was of the sons of God all the way from Adam all the way through Arphaxad, through Peleg, and through all the way down to Abraham.
Yep. Noah was a part of that.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, how ends up down that line. Y'all got it.
And kept him strong against his tender compassion towards his son.
Talking about Isaac. Yeah.
When the ungodly perished, she delivered the righteous man.
And who was that righteous man? Give me 2 Peter 2. Who was that righteous man? 2 Peter 2 and was that 5, 6?
It tells a shorter version of the same thing we're reading now. Chapter, top of the chapter.
2 Peter 2 and 5. Well, 4. I'm going to start 4. For if Yahweh spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness.
Talking about the sons of the power. Go ahead.
To be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the whole world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly.
What shows you that even when the Lord did that, these people, they know that this happened. The Lord left the evidence. He left the receipt of what he did to that place. And they still don't fear. So these people are not wise at all. You know? They're not wise at all. Instead, you're going to actually get even more bold in your wickedness. You didn't even learn from what the Lord did to that civilization.
It's something I haven't quoted in a while. Because sentence against an evil work is then executed speedily.
Ecclesiastes.
Yeah, the hearts of the sons of men are fully set in them to do evil. So because there hasn't been, because judgment never going forth, how's that go? The law is slack.
Yeah, the law is slack.
And judgment never go forth. You know, I forgot how.
Therefore, wrong judgment.
Wrong.
Proceed. Yeah.
Saying that the judgment ain't being. If people do wicked, the wicked have been ruling for so long. The Most High ain't did nothing about it, but don't think it ain't gonna come. Lo, it will come.
Habakkuk 1:4.
Yeah.
Because the law is slack.
Yep. Yeah, that's what we was talking about.
Yeah.
I was butchering. Yeah, what?
They count the day of the Lord's slackness, man.
Yeah.
Right,
And delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the
we call
wicked.
them just Lot.
Yep.
Another word for just means righteous. You know? Go ahead.
For that righteous man dwelleth.
That righteous man. See, that's how you know that in Wisdom of Solomon 10 it's talking about Lot right there. Go ahead.
For that righteous man dwelling among them, and seeing and hearing, vex his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds.
Why? Because he was wise. It tells you that in Ecclesiastes that wisdom multiplies sorrow. Because you know the truth, you know righteousness, but everything around you is just is adverse to it.
Yeah.
So it's gonna always agitate you. It's gonna vex you. We're vexed every day, and that means that you're wise because you fear the Most High. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. You fear the Most High, so when you see abominations going on, you don't even want to be near it. You don't even want to be around it, man. And then if you voice your disapproval for it, you're going to be persecuted or demonized for it.
He's going to depart from evil,
Make himself a prey.
You know, something I was contemplating about Lot is, you know, he was a leader of his household. Because if he wasn't, them daughters would have turned back too.
Exactly.
I thought about that, like, because he was a leader, so they knew, yo, look straight ahead.
They follow their pop. They follow their mama.
Yep.
They saw their mama. What happened to their mama?
But their nature, though.
Yeah.
Their nature had them do some wicked shit once they got to safety.
Right. Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
But it got them delivered though out of that.
Yep. I mean, but hey, that was in the Most High's will for that to happen anyway. Because it brought forth Moab and Ammon.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, even though they're not they're heathens, but they're still necessary. Every movie has a supporting cast. You know, every movie got to have extras and supporting cast. All these other nations outside of Israel, they're just the supporting cast.
It'd be weak if it was just us.
You know,
That's gonna be fun.
The main cast,
You know,
the main people of importance is happen to be Jacob and Esau.
I gotta say it like this. Nobody would go see the Globetrotters if they wasn't playing.
Yeah.
If they were playing the bench warmers of the Globetrotters. You know what I mean?
Thought these niggas back in California.
They say this
All
nigga
type of
dead.
reports that this nigga was dead and shit.
No, but they're saying, but no, if they didn't have to watch some generals, nobody would watch.
Hey, he stay getting ran up on by a dyke bitch, don't he? Hey, he got whooped by one too, didn't he?
Yeah. Let's get into it.
Verse 9, the Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptation, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how to reserve you, man.
Yeah.
You know how to
That's it,
reserve
man.
you. You was still weak, right?
Yeah, just go back to Wisdom of Solomon 10. So, and wisdom saved a lot out of that, man. Just like wisdom is going to preserve us and deliver us out of this thing, man. Because we're sighing and crying, man. The Lord says, set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all abominations that be done in the midst.
Start with that vexation, that you know, that agitation.
Like Lot. All right? Now go back. Oh, you had a quick
Yeah,
quick.
quick.
Go ahead.
Luke 18 and 7. And shall not Yahweh avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear along with them? I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth.
There it is. Now go back to that in Wisdom of Solomon.
Back to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10, and verse 6. When the ungodly perish, she delivered the righteous man, who fled from the fire which fell upon the 5 cities, of whose wickedness, even to this day, the wasteland that smoketh is a testimony.
It's a testimony. It's a witness. Now, this, because it says it's smoking even to this day. Obviously, there's no smoke going up. But what that's saying is that landmass that used to be inhabited by these wicked, evil people is still suffering the effects of the judgment, the punishment that the Lord put upon it.
Now, like, even though there's not a fire